Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 16th to the 31st, 2022 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Virgo, January 16th to the 31st, 2022, Virgo. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. 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 At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Magician, I love that, at our root. And we have the Emperor, which is Aries energy coming through. So if we have Aries in our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully here at our root. Then we have the 10 of Wands. And we have the 9 of Cups in our inner self. The Page of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There could be a child Aries energy coming through, or a learning how to be a leader in our lives and really learning how to, express what we want and stand firm in ourselves. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing. We have the Wheel of Fortune again, which I love. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which is us. We are represented by the Pentacles in the Minor Arcana. We are represented by the Hermit in the Major Arcana. So we're coming through as a student during this time. Now let's look at our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. This is the Queen of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This is an energy of emotions, most definitely coming in. This is a person who knows how to really press our buttons. And I'm just seeing, this is somebody that we could really love, really, really just absolutely adore. But we also have to be aware that they're going to have their own emotional needs, emotional desires, and we can get kind of pulled into their vortex of pain. So just be mindful of this. This could be a friend, this could be a lover, this could be, whomever, but this is going to be a person that we really want to be there for, and we need to be there for them, but we need to know how deeply we're going to dive into where they are. So I know that sounds a bit odd, but that's going to be very important because there's just an intensity to them. And this is also can be somebody who just knows our buttons, knows how to press our buttons, knows how to get us to react a certain way. So just be aware of this. Then we have our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. This is creativity, and this is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is a very powerful chakra. It is where our creative our creative energy is held. It's where our sensual, sexual energy is held. It's also where a lot of our hurts and pains from this life and past lives are held. So here, as we're looking at our sacral chakra, as we're looking at our creativity for our lives and the way that we want to create our existence and ourselves, it's going to be very, very important to stand true to what we want and to create what we want, and not let other people kind of say, oh, but don't you want this? Like, oh, don't you think you should do that? Type of thing. So just be very, very aware of this during this time. So let's talk about things astrologically speaking from the 16th to the 31st. And if a day doesn't show up, it just means that nothing important, astrologically is happening on that day. So the 16th of January starts with the Sun conjunct Pluto. So this brings deep and intense emotions to the surface. We want to expand for our betterment. We want to, really go after kind of the harder things. We're not going to be okay with the easy road. There is also amazing willpower to be harnessed on this day, and it can really lead us to life-changing events that push us forward. The 17th of January has the full moon in Cancer. It is the wolf moon, and there will be a separate video on that. The 18th of January has Uranus going direct. Now, the Uranus went retrograde on the 19th of August. And when Uranus goes retrograde, it brings inner change because of the outer change that we're seeing within our lives. So that's going to be very important here. And we've seen a lot of change, a lot of upheaval during this time. Now we're going to be seeing things starting to settle, starting to become more focused as Uranus goes direct. The 23rd of January has the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde. Now, Virgo, Mercury retrograde is very intense for us. We are ruled by Mercury. So whenever Mercury comes up in the planetary alignments, it's going to be more intense for us than it is going to be for others. And Mercury retrograde can hit us much more intensely than it will others. So again, just be mindful of this. This is an absolutely fantastic aspect for artists or people who are seeking to create new ways of embracing their lives and embracing their road forward with the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde. Now, because Mercury is in retrograde, there's going to be a bit of a frustration in the conceptualizing of our ideas of, really giving birth to what we desire. Don't let this get you down, and really embrace your active mind, really embrace your active communication, because even though we're in Mercury retrograde, we feel like, okay, people aren't hearing us, people aren't understanding us. It doesn't mean that we can just go silent for this time, or at least so many of us cannot. What it does mean, though, is that we still have powerful communication. We just maybe have to slow down a little bit, look inside a little bit. The 24th of January has Mars entering into Capricorn. Now we have strong Mars energy here because of the Emperor. Aries energy is ruled by Mars. And this is a time where if we need to conquer anything, if we need to really go after anything, to get something done, this is the day to do it. Here we have the warrior energy of Mars and the practicality of Capricorn coming together, which really makes things possible, which really lets us, be focused, be driven, and really move forward. If we can harness this energy and kind of keep it with us, that's going to be a very good thing. The 26th of January has Neptune squared Lilith. Now, this is a very powerful alignment. Neptune is also known as the Lord of the Invisible Kingdom and has us looking at our dreams and our heart's desires, while Lilith has us looking at the darker fears and our darker doubts. So the things that are holding us back, and yet we're wanting to be propelled forward. Now, we can feel overwhelmed because we're looking at our doubts and we're looking at our dreams at the exact same time. There's going to be a certain need for understanding here that even though I am afraid, even though I am overwhelmed, I am still going after what I want, what I need, and who I am. The 29th of January has the Sun sextile Chiron. Now, this aspect shows us our wounds within our strengths. It forces us to face what we might not want to face because it makes us become more powerful. It makes us become more powerful in looking at, the weaknesses within what we're really strong at, where we could improve, where we could move things forward, what we need to really, sit down and say, okay, yeah, this isn't what I'm necessarily the best at, or yeah, here I struggle with this aspect. So just be aware of this. The 29th of January also has Mercury conjunct Pluto. Now, again, because we're ruled by Mercury, this is going to be very powerful for us. Mercury is again in retrograde. This makes us greatly intelligent and deeply curious. Because Mercury is in retrograde, we can feel overwhelmed at times by the level of our curiosity, and feel as if we're a bit scattered on this day because we want to just know everything, do everything, move forward every way. So just be aware of that. The 29th of January has Venus going direct. Now, Venus has been in retrograde since the 19th of December, and it has brought challenges around our love and around what we love within our life. This has us looking at what we love, what we want, and really seeing why we love it. As Venus goes direct, we're like, this is what I love, this is what I need within my life, this is my honesty and openness with myself. The 30th of January has the Sun squared Uranus. Now, people find us, and we're going to find other people, a bit abrupt and provocative, really, causing us to think about things in a different way, or even being just rather caustic on this day. So just be mindful of this during this time. But what we're going to be is very driven to do the things our own way, to let ourselves stand out, to let ourselves be ourselves. We're setting up for something really that is quite great, because in our hearts, we can feel a change coming. In our public arena, we can feel that change really pushing us forward. So at our root here, we have the Magician. As above, so below. As you believe it, so it becomes. Now, we can argue with this statement all we want. It is a very true statement written in book after book about the tarot, about the Magician. And I love it because it's what we think of, we bring into our lives. So if we have worries and doubts and fears, if we're listening to things online, or we're listening to other people's, truths, or, ways of being, and they're not aligning with ours, or they're causing disharmony within our lives, we need to step back. We need to step back and say, what do I need for me? How do I need to move forward for me? What is it that I love? What is it that I want within my life? How is it that I lead myself forward? The Magician comes in and says, let me stand before the altar of my existence. Let me stand before the altar of my power, and let me see me more openly, more honestly, and more personally than ever before. And we start to look at our elemental gifts. We start to look at our passions. We start to look at what we desire, and things start to come together. And it brings us to the Emperor. It brings us to this place where we're starting to really claim our throne, claim what it is that we want, look at what we desire and the way forward. And there's going to be a very great sense of, as I'm standing before the altar of my existence, I'm starting to trust myself more. I'm starting to see what I want in my life. I'm starting to look at who I am. I'm not letting other people decide, which way I'm going, or how I'm moving, or what I should want, or how I should be. This is me. And I get to be me with openness, with honesty, but also with power in my life. This is my life. And this is the one life that I have, and so I get to be open to it. I get to move my life in the direction that I deeply want it to be. I get to embrace my soul, my passion, and myself. And that's at the root of us. And we're looking at our inner selves. And we've been carrying so much, so many doubts and fears, so much pressure, so much, of what we think we should be doing, of how we think we should be moving forward. We're carrying other people's burdens because we're trying to lessen the load for them, or we're simply just carrying all our own burdens without ever putting them down and saying, okay, how do I move myself forward? Where is it that I want to be within my life? What is it that I desire for me? Not what is it that everybody else desires from me? And it brings us to a place where we put down our burdens. We're coming to a completion of a cycle when it comes to our passion, when it comes to our fire, our creativity, and it moves us to the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is this place where wishes start to come true, where we sit back and we say, I've gathered this, I have this, I'm, powered and insightful and, driven by this energy for this. And it really does start to open up our doors. It really does start to inspire us in a really real way. Just make sure we're seeing these gifts, because with the Nine of Cups, we can be kind of ignorant to what's around us. Other people can see it, but it's going to be a bit harder for us. So in our inner self, it's starting to really embrace these beautiful moments. It's starting to embrace what we wish for, what we greatly desire, how we want to move forward. And it brings us to the Page of Wands. It brings us in our hearts being a student of our passion. We're getting messages from Spirit to help us move forward. We're going to be looking at new ways to move forward in our careers, or in just what we're excited about. It doesn't have to be a career. It could be a side project. It could be a hobby. It could be, saying, I always wanted to, start photography or something like that. Let me try. Let me go out. Let me see what I can do if I embrace this passion, this beauty within myself. And it brings us to a change. And we can also have a fire sign energy in our life that is teaching us. It's teaching us not only how to stay grounded, not only how to, be an earth sign energy, but how to embrace the fire and the passion of a fire sign energy. I see this with my nephew. He's an Aries, and I mean, he teaches me how to be more assertive within my life, and he's only 2 years old. So we can find this inspiration anywhere. It can open up our eyes to things that we hadn't seen before. And it brings us to the Wheel of Fortune. It brings things changing. We're changing. The world is opening. Things are becoming more clear to us. Things are, gaining a greater understanding. The Wheel of Fortune is coming in, and it's like, oh, okay, I see it. Oh, okay, I see me. And as we're doing this, as we're gaining this understanding, everything is changing. We are changing. And the Wheel of Fortune can say, all right, this is going to be a bit of a journey. This is going to be a bit of a struggle. I have my highs, my lows, my lefts, my rights, everything like that. But I'm stepping into a new season for myself. I'm stepping into a new way of seeing things for myself. And there's a real sense of I'm leaving behind so much negativity. I'm leaving behind so much hurt and pain. And as we're doing this, it brings us to the Wheel of Fortune in the public arena. And here it says karma and destiny. And it repeats that as a mantra. We're going after, we're seeing our karma unfold. We're going after our destiny and what we desire. And as we're doing this, we're seeing ourselves more and more. We're looking at what we need. We're looking at what we want. We're looking at what's appropriate for us, what isn't appropriate for us, and where it is that we need to be within our lives. And in the public arena, we're going to see things changing for us. Now, we're not only going to feel like it's for the best. It can be changes that come in that just take us by surprise, that overwhelm us, that make us doubt us, But what we're going to find is that we're looking at these changes, and it's like, okay, where do I need to be? Have I been in the wrong spot for me? Have I been trying to be something that I'm not? Or have I been trying to make something work that just isn't working? And it brings us to the Page of Pentacles. It brings us to, as it says here, talent and skill and money, and talent and skill and money. It brings us to a place where we see our talents and skill. And we see how that is translated into the profit of the world. Now, it can be money, material wealth, most definitely, but it can also be looking and valuing ourselves. We're going to see things starting to change, and we're starting to see our worth. We're starting to see what we desire. We're starting to see what we want. There's also something coming forward here where we're going to see new doorways opening up for work. We're going to see ourselves looking at things in a very different way. We're also going to find ourselves being more assertive. So if we've been a little bit more passive or a little bit too agreeable in our lives, we're going to see ourselves really starting to say, no, that's not okay. Yes, I would have let that slide. And it's not maybe about, whatever the issue is. It's about the principle of the matter. We could be getting into an argument. Like, let's say there's a coupon that we want to use, right? And the person's like, no, it's not good. And you're like, yes, it is. The expiration date, isn't there, or you just sent this to me, or it's not expired. You have to take it. And there's a sense of, yeah, okay, you can be seen as being pushy by that person, but it's also like, no, I'm standing up for myself, and I'm standing up for what I value and what, was said was going to be done. And that's going to be something that's very important, Virgo, just to really sit there and say, okay, I'm looking at the structure of things. I'm looking at what needs to be done, and I'm honoring it. The coupon scenario is just a very boiled down, idea of it, but we're going to see that the hard work, the staying firm within ourselves, the having the rules and going after what we need, that becomes very empowering for us. That becomes very provoking for us to move forward to the place that we need to be for ourselves, not for everybody else. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the Prince of Swords. The Prince of Swords is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It is being pushed in a direction that we're not ready for. It is a person, sitting there and saying, no, it has to be like this, it has to be like this. This is a person who hasn't thought it all through. And they're coming through to things with half ideas. We're also going to have to be very mindful of coming to certain things with half ideas. And as we come to them with half ideas, it's like, well, am I moving forward the right way? Am I going after what it is that I really want? Do I know what it is that I really want? And it can become overwhelming for us. So just be mindful of this. We can think, well, action is better than inaction, or I'm just going to be in fight mode. And Spirit's saying here, no, what we're really looking at here is getting out of the fight or flight mode and standing in the power of ourselves. And that is a beautiful thing. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's grounding. This is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. We're grounding ourselves. We're stabilizing ourselves. We're seeing ourselves more and more and more. And as we're doing this, it's like, oh, okay, am I feeding myself correctly? Am I getting the nutrients that I need from the world that I am planted in. And the best way to say this is like, you wouldn't plant a cactus in a forest, right? You wouldn't plant an oak in a desert. There's just not the right nutrients. So why do we plant ourselves as human beings in energy scenarios, in places of work, in places that we are that aren't right for us? And we think, oh, it's going to work, like it'll work out, and it's just not right. So just being very aware of that is going to be astoundingly important. It's like, what is feeding me here? What am I grounded to? What is nurturing me to help me grow? It moves us to our subconscious, subconscious rooted energy. There we go. And it's the Lovers. Gemini energy, meaning that we are really connected with Mercury during this time, because not only are we ruled by Mercury, Virgo, but so is Gemini. So here we have our love and our passion coming forward through our words, through our communication. Is that getting jumbled? Are we moving forward in the right way for us, or do we simply feel overwhelmed by things? And this is getting the passion back into our lives. This is looking at what we love and saying, why do I love this? Why do I need this? Why is this important to me? Where do I feel overwhelmed? And it can be that just acknowledging where we feel overwhelmed is the first step. And then we might need help to not feel so overwhelmed with things, from a best friend, from a family member, something to that effect, where we can say, okay, I need to tackle this problem. It's just monumental to me. And every time I look at it, it becomes overwhelming. Can you please help me? And just kind of setting out those feelers, even if we have to, FaceTime with somebody to be able to get that connection, it's going to be so important. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the Emperor once again. Very strong Aries energy here, very strong sacred masculine energy. And so what we have coming forward here is our power, is our intention, is our focus, is the claiming of the throne, is the statement, somebody has to lead the way. Why not me? And that's going to be very true, especially in our own lives. Somebody has to lead the way. Why cannot I be that person who walks forward in my passion, in what I desire, in what I need and want? It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and that is the Knight of Swords. So as much as we have to be mindful of the Knight of Swords, we also have to embrace that energy of going and doing and being the hero of our story, of embracing our third chakra, of saying what we mean, of speaking the truth and going after what it is that we want. There's going to be a power in the realization of us, and it moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And then we have strength. This is Leo energy. This says, yes, as the world turns, as we become a student of ourselves, we are embracing our strength. Here we have courage and strength and control. And it doesn't say yes here. It says courage, strength, and control. Do we have the courage to embrace our strength and to have the control over it, to move forward not tyrannically, but in love, but gently, but calmly, but quietly, and beautifully? All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we embrace the power and the intensity of this time for us. So let's take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo.